So the last concept we're going to kind of apply to this simple game that we talked about before is going to be a cooperative outcome. And so this is when firms, this is kind of like collusion, and when firms are going to pick the strategies or get to the outcome that is maximizing their joint profits or payoffs. So this is the outcome that gives the best joint outcome for both players. And so think of this as kind of like the collusion outcome or cooperate outcome. But it's about an outcome, not a strategy, so I just want to be a bit careful with the language there. So in terms of our game, so this is firm A and firm B, and we had co-op and compete, and co-op and compete. This was 17-17 and 15-22 and 22-15 and 20-20. So in this game, the cooperative outcome is this outcome right here, where they're both kind of splitting these monopoly profits. So they're both producing half the monopoly profits and splitting the monopoly profit, which is $20 each, or $20 million each, or $20,000 each, or whatever it is. So notice that it's not a Nash equilibrium, and because competing is our dominant strategies for each firm, we're going to end up at 17-17. We're not going to end up with this cooperative outcome because each firm has this incentive to compete all the time. And so we might want to come up with, if we're the firms rather than the people, I guess, we might want to come up with ways to try to get this cooperative outcome. If it's a one-shot game where we're just playing this game once, we're not going to end up in this cooperative outcome. But maybe if we repeat this game over and over again, we have these dynamic games, maybe there's ways to incentivize other players to cooperate. And so when we have these dynamic games or these repeated games, we might employ different strategies to try to get these other players, other firms in our market to also cooperate. And so examples of that is using like a tit-for-tat strategy, for instance, where my strategy would be to play whatever strategy you did last turn. And because when we have these repeated games, sometimes, we're not going to account for the payoffs of repeating this game over and over again when we're thinking about whether to do our dominant strategies or not. And so if we have these repeated games, we want to think about ways to coordinate over a long period of time and get the benefits of cooperation rather than competing over and over and over again.